Hello there, people of the internet. This right here is a little box of goodies that I ended up receiving from a viewer. I'll go ahead and announce their name at the end of this video, along with a note that they had sent me. We'll go ahead and we will read through that. If you want to go ahead and send me basically anything, then go ahead and shoot me an email, and that is probably going to be the best and easiest way to get in contact with me. All that being said, I got a lot of stuff inside of this box, and this right here is definitely going to make for some very interesting future content. A lot of this stuff is not necessarily stuff that you can find all that easily, and a lot of it appears to be reloadable. So even the stuff that is bird and primed, I can go ahead and convert that to boxer primed brass, so I can go ahead and reload that stuff, or at least try my best to be able to pull that off. There are, well, easier ways to convert things than what I'm going to attempt, but we'll see how that happens. So we got ourselves just a bunch of like non-branded stuff inside of this box, but we also got some stuff that is just in actual boxes that I can tell what they are immediately. So we're gonna go ahead and just kind of go through all this stuff one by one and see what it is that I was actually sent here. So first off, I'm not sure if this right here is 8x50 or 8x56 ammunition, but it is some sort of Steyr ammunition. You can tell from the box. Inside we have 2 stripper clips of 5 rounds apiece. This is clearly old ammunition. You can tell from the design of the actual necks of the cases. I'm betting that this right here is probably going to be Berdan primed, but I am sure that I can go ahead and convert this over to boxer primed. This right here is going to make for fantastic video content in the future. Now I have a couple of clips for my rifles, and I have, well, some brass and some actual ammunition to be able to launch through these rifles, assuming that stuff actually detonates upon impact. 303 British, made by men, for men. This right here is a 303 ball, nothing special. Full metal jacket rounds. I'm betting that these are probably 174 grain, but I have not actually proven that. And I am betting that these right here are probably going to be reloadable brass. The inside, yep, that's definitely 303 British ammunition. The brass is clearly annealed, and that is going to help with the reloading process and the longevity of that ammunition. I got myself a box of 30 caliber carbine here. This stuff right here is a little bit on the corroded side, so I might clean this up a little bit before I decide to go ahead and run it through my firearms. But besides that, I am certain this stuff is going to go bang, and this is not French-produced 30 caliber carbine, so it is not going to be corrosive. The French did make corrosive ammo, and, well, the M1 carbine does not lend itself to being very easily cleaned whenever it comes to corrosive ammo, just because of the gas system needing to have, well, a locking nut replaced. Okay, I think that's all the boxes. There might be one more in here. We'll get to that whenever we get to that. So we're just going to start going through these things one thing at a time. This right here is 8mm Lebel ammunition. I got a pretty cool upcoming video for this stuff right here. Subscribe to the channel if you want to check that out. And then this is right here, looks like, yep, 7.5 Swiss. This looks like GP11, and this right here is some of the best 7.5 Swiss that you can get out there on the market. I am actually incredibly low on 7.5 Swiss, so this right here is going to, you know, at least space out for a couple of videos. I got 3, 6, 7 rounds. Yeah, I could probably get a couple of videos out of that right there. I got a 9611, and this right here is going to feed through it beautifully. What do we have inside of the large bag right here? It's always a mystery, just reach in there without even looking. We got some 303 British ammunition. So I do have myself a couple of clips in here by the feel of it. 303 rounds, and it appears to be a mixed batch of ammunition, which is cool. I'm going to look through all this ammo and see if I find anything interesting in terms of, it all does appear to be military surplus stuff. This is 1944, and it says MK8Z on this, from what I can tell. What about one of these silver rounds? This right here says G2 RL 1944, and, well, what was that other one I saw? This one's a little bit different. What do you say? This one says UA US 15. So this right here is actually a World War I round. I might just keep that one for display purposes. 1944, that's going to be a World War II production. And it's just a whole bunch of different mixed things here. This says DC-15 VII. And what does this one right here say? We got 1942 Yeah, Britain was not doing so well in 1942. But bunch of clips, bunch of different kinds of ammo. Looks like we got ourselves some soft point 303 rounds. I'm going to just double check, make sure that these are not hand loads. They don't look like it, and if they are really, really well done. Because we got ourselves a proper crimp job on these things, and we got ourselves sealed primers. But I'll go ahead and I'll double check those before I go sending them through my rifles. So we got some World War I stuff, we got some World War II stuff, we got some cartridges here that are just completely unnamed. This right here is a 303 round that has absolutely no indications on the head stamp. We got all sorts of cool stuff. This is 44, this one right here doesn't have a date, so that is pretty gosh darn neat. I like this World War I round, a 1915 production. I bet that one right there, well, I would like to see, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and save that topic for another video now that I'm actually thinking about it. So, 303 British, a lot of it is World War I, World War II, a lot of it is surplus stuff, and we got some stuff that appears to be commercial stuff. Okay, up next we got clearly 7.62 by 54 rimmed. Is that what this says on here? Yes, it says Mosin. So, this right here is pretty interesting. Yellow tip rounds, I'm pretty sure that those are going to be spotter rounds, and he did send me a couple of stripper clips as well. This is going to make for a fun video. Essentially, this is exactly what red tip rounds are for the rest of us. I can't say the name of the round because I don't want YouTube to get all upsetty spaghetti. We got silver tip rounds. These tend to indicate steel core ammunition. It's just the type of core that the projectile has on the inside. As opposed to like a lead core ammo, steel core, there's just more steel available, and steel tends to be pretty good at going through things. Alright, up next we got ourselves a black bag. What is inside of the black bag? Let's find out. Turkish 8mm Mauser. I have played with plenty of this stuff, and I recognize it immediately. This isn't Turkish 8mm Mauser. What do we have going on here? We got 10 rounds of Turk Mauser, and then we got Winchester 8mm, but we got little lead rounds. I'm betting that these right here are hand loads. This does not look like factory loaded ammo, and that's fine. I mean, I load 8mm Mauser myself. I'll go ahead and I'll check this stuff out, make sure it is actually safe to fire, and we'll test to see how well this stuff actually runs. That is pretty cool. I know I have some 30-06 rounds that kind of look like this. These are nice lightweight projectiles. I'm not quite sure what the grainage is, but they're significantly smaller than the 155 grain projectiles that are on the Turk rounds. What else do we have in here? I see some very old styles of ammo here. This right here looks like round Spitzer. It's not Spitzer style. It says 7mm. I'm betting that this right here is probably 7mm Mauser, like an early bullet style 7mm Mauser. And that's not something that you see very often. I don't see round nose projectiles like this all that often. I'll go ahead, whenever I get the chance, I'll measure this out with some calipers and make sure that this is actually 7mm Mauser. I'm not sure if 7mm Mauser was originally round nose like this right here. I know a lot of your earlier cartridges, whenever they were first being adopted, right as smokeless powder was first being, created and implemented, a lot of your countries had round nose bullets, much like this right here. I'm not sure if 7mm Mauser started off round nose or if it was a Spitzer style cartridge to begin with, and well, that leads me to think maybe these right here are not factory loads. They might potentially be hand loads of some kind, but this just says UMC 7mm. I'll go ahead and I'll do some research on these, see if I can figure out what I got going on with them. My bet, 7mm Mauser, and those are some really, really cool looking projectiles. I'm probably going to keep one of those for display purposes as well. And then we got 7.62 by 51. This right here is obviously 7.62 NATO, and I spy with my little eye things that are a little bit different. These are copper washed rounds. These right here are projectiles that are going to be made by some sort of comm block country. For the most part, this right here is very indicative of like what Russia and other comm block countries would be doing with their ammunition, be it China or, insert your choice of comm block country. It's essentially a steel case round that is copper washed, and it leads them to look like complete copper. I do have a couple of 7.62 by 39 and 7.62 by 54 rimmed rounds that are like this, but this is my first 7.62 by 51 that I've seen copper washed like this. Let's see if we can find a date on these bad boys. Looks like 93. Yeah, the only other number on here is 19, and 7.62 NATO did not exist in 1919. So, yeah, this right here, 93, that tells me 1993 is whenever these right here were produced, which is pretty gosh darn awesome. Then we have some, looks like regular standard full metal jacket 7.62 NATO, and they all have surplus 7.62 NATO head stamps on them. Okay, 2015 to 2019 production, judging by the look of all of them. So that is pretty cool. Excellent, excellent score from this viewer, and he's going to help me make quite a bit of content. So this right here is from New York Half-Ass Prepper. I had to wait till later in the video because you can't curse for like a certain period of time at the start of the video. So New York Half-Ass Prepper, I do appreciate you sending me this stuff. He wrote me a note. It says, Tori. Tori is actually my girlfriend. My name is Sean. For the mailing address, I had him put Tori just because, you know, she was the one who was going to be receiving it. And it just made things easier to have her name on the mailing address. My name's actually Sean. Good to meet you. So he says, enjoy. If you don't really need clips, I can use them back here. Trust me, buddy, I can definitely use those clips. Holler if you need rifles or ammo for the channel. We can work on a loan or a trade. I will definitely bear that in mind for the future. I don't really foresee me trading my stuff because, well, whenever I get myself a rifle, it is because I want that particular rifle. But we could definitely work out some sort of loan or something. And, yeah, we'll discuss that later on. That might have to be something after I get reestablished. This is clearly not my primary setup. I'm currently working on some stuff. So that's where I'm at right now. Anyway, this right here is definitely going to help me make quite a bit of content, and boy is it going to be fun. Some of this stuff I know exactly what it is, and some of this stuff I'm not entirely sure about, so I'll have to play around with it and see if I can figure out what it is. Like this right here, clearly hand loads. I don't foresee this being factory ammunition. So I'm going to go ahead and pull one of these apart, check the powder, check the primers, just check the grain weight, make sure I'm not going to blow myself up whenever I launch those downrange. And then I got 303 Brit, really cool 303 Brit, copper wash 7.62 NATO. There's definitely a unique one. And I got some very hard to find Steyr ammunition over here. So this will make for some fantastic content. All that being said, thank you ever so much for watching, folks. I do appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. I always tell people about the description having a bunch of links. And this is like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, etc., etc. Those are great social media platforms if you want to go there and just see some of the other stuff that I'm doing. So, yeah, that's not just me doing an outro just to do the outro. There are actually links in the description if you want to go check that out. Okay, all that being said, thanks for watching. I will see you guys on the next episode.
Since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. Shame that bolt action shotguns aren't or mainstream.